Alright, ship time. Ship time. Methinks. Take command. Maybe I can take off this cloak now.
Let's go.
Oh, it's gonna come off there anyway. Okay, so turn around and go that way and maybe do a raid on the way. It's kind of what I'm leaning towards here. So let's spin around here.
What's the meaning of this?
And then back. There's my guy there. I was about to say, why aren't these guys paddling? But it's because they're on the mast. Alright, well, follow river. Go to quest objective. We'll be on the way over there. Well, late at night, and I know that I've talked before about how my long ongoing series is when I like to oftentimes talk about like different life stuff going on, because it's basically the closest thing that I have to journal entries, and it'd be cool one day to look back at these series and see like kind of what was going on in my life at those times. Is this okay? Oh. Wow. And Assassin's Creed is my longest ongoing playthrough, so... Oh, it is just showing me that one. It's still a little far away, though. So, may as well chat about some new stuff here. And there was something that actually happened with January 1st that I wanted to chat about that I didn't get the chance to during the last stream, but I figure I may as well mention here, but isn't exactly the easiest topic for me to talk about, but like I wanted to talk about a smidge anyway. And it has to do with Doggy adoption, where unfortunately I had to say goodbye to Jessie at the beginning of November 2023. So it's been well over a year now. Still very much missing her every day, but what did I just get a prompt for? I don't know, something or other. Oh, a new fast travel point here. But I have very much wanted to have another Doggy in the house for a while now, because while life is definitely easier without a Doggy around, and I mean, especially with Jessie when she was getting really old, I was doing a lot, like, to be looking after her in her old age there. But whether an old Doggy or a puppy, or even just getting, like, a new adult Doggy trained into a house and used to it, takes a lot of work. And then, like, regular work with having a Doggy around, it is definitely easier having a lot more time in the schedule to do other things without having a Doggy around. But it's not necessarily better. Like, I do very much miss getting home and having someone there who's just, like, so happy to see me, and I can go over and, like, be super happy to see as well. Like, a little bit of cheer to getting home. Whereas, like, nowadays, the past year, getting back home again after university or work, it's just like, yep. Head down here, put down my laptop bag, and get back to work on other stuff. Like, there's not really much else to it than that. Maybe chat with family a little bit, but not really the pure joy that comes with having a Doggy around. And it's not like I would really go on walks or anything like that without having a Doggy around, because, like, it'd be like, why would I? So there are definitely a lot of things that I would normally do that I'm not doing when I don't have the reason to without having a Doggy here. Plus, with the way that things are currently, things are, like, really, really bad in terms of, like, the current adoption market, in terms of there's way, way, way more dogs and cats that need homes that don't have them, that aren't really able to get them. It's been really bad ever since COVID, because during COVID there was a lot of people that adopted dogs just, like, because they were stuck at home and they wanted to have someone else around there, I guess. And then after COVID ended, there was a lot of people that were like, oh, I can't really look after this animal anymore here. I'm gonna give them back, or put them up for adoption or something or other, or give them to some sort of shelter or rescue society or whatever the heck. And it's like, if you can't care for them long term, then don't get them as just like a means to stave off boredom. Like, during what's clearly going to be not like a forever kind of pandemic. Did they really think that the pandemic was going to last like forever? Like, if you can't make the long-term commitment, then don't make the adoption. And so stuff like that really ticks me off. So there's still some lingering effects of that. Is still very much the case. Plus, after COVID, with, like, the economy really, really hurting and still kind of struggling to bounce back a lot. I'm gonna use that ration. That doesn't even fully restore my health, holy crap. So there's still lingering effects on the economy, where the additional expense and time that goes into caring for another member in your household is something that a lot of people can't really see themselves doing, as they're still struggling to live in this post-COVID world. So there's a lot less adoptions that are going on now as opposed to pre-COVID. Plus, it also seems in the last several years there's a lot of rescues that are coming in, especially from various reserves around the province, from what I've heard, where a lot of dogs aren't spayed or neutered and are just let to roam free, and whatever happens to them there happens to them. And a lot of people on these reserves a lot of the time won't even let rescue societies come in just to like spay and neuter all the dogs. Just say, nope, we don't want you doing that. And so they're left to breed, and so many puppies end up coming into like rescue shelters and not enough homes to adopt them, and it's just a bit of craziness. So there's so many dogs and cats that really need homes right now, and it's just really in not a great state right now. Is there like gold here or something like that? So, like, it is also an especially important time to be considering to adopt, I feel like, just because of like how many dogs are looking for homes right now. But I feel like the process of actually going through and adopting is a little bit of a difficult mental barrier for me to get past. I feel like there's probably some people over here to pick up at this point. Like, for a lot of 2024, I went to a lot of different rescue societies adoption events and met a lot of different doggies over the course of the year. There was one that I met that was briefly in the house here. I probably talked about during Assassin's Creed Odyssey, was probably seen on camera during Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where I went and met this doggy along with my cousin's kids, and the doggy was being looked after by this boarding kennel, because things are so backed up that there literally isn't even enough foster homes for all the doggies, so a lot of them are at places like boarding kennels that are looking after them. And when I asked the boarding kennel about her, they're like, we don't really know all that much. We're just kind of looking after her in the meantime because the rescue society can't actually look after her. But you're free to take her home and see what things are like, and if it doesn't seem like it works out, then bring her back. And what are you trying to drop kick him here? You are missing. My goodness gracious. Okay, it's kind of hard to ramble while I'm trying to aim here as well. Oh my god. This would be so much better with a mouse. There, I got that, I think. But yeah, I thought she was really sweet. My cousin's kiddos really liked her too. And so, what, really? So ended up bringing her home to see, like, what would happen there. And it turned out, like, even though she was a really sweet doggy, her personality type wasn't really a good fit for our household here. While she got along with other dogs in, like, a communal environment, like a dog park, when she was in an environment that she would see, like, as her territory, she got incredibly defensive and really hated other dogs in that kind of circumstance there, which would be really not good at a place like the lake cabin, where there's a lot of other dogs around the lake village there. So it'd be really, really important to have a doggy that gets along with other dogs. And because of the lake cabin as well, it's really important to not have that strong of a prey drive wanting to go after like squirrels and birds and stuff like that. Because if a dog has a really strong prey drive, geez, I'd worry about, oh, at the lake, there's a squirrel or a bird, just gone, you're never seeing the dog again. When we oftentimes like to keep the gate open out there. And Jessie had like a really, really good sense of boundaries. She would not be leaving that yard. Like, she would always be staying within it, even with like the gate wide open. She had a very good sense of her territory there and what not to leave. So this doggy had a really, really, really strong prey drive and didn't get along with other doggies in a territory-like environment. So even though she was really sweet, we had to make the hard decision of bringing her back. And oh my goodness. And I was doing a 24-hour charity stream for a little bit of the time that we had her, and during that time my mom was looking after her, so she got especially attached. But we did realize, like, our household is not the right fit, and it is important to make sure that things are a right fit, both for yourself and for the dog in question. Like, you don't want to be giving a difficult life to a doggy if you know that that's what your lifestyle is going to give, where you're just going to have to be keeping them, like, indoors all the time and not able to, like, really be out there like we would hope our doggy would be able to be at the lake, stuff like that, you know? So, really sweet doggy. Hopefully got like a really good, well-deserved home, but not the right fit for our family. And so when we brought her back, my mom had tears in her eyes and said, like, we can't do that again anytime soon. Like, when we adopt, we want to make sure that it's the right one. So I've continued throughout last year to go to various different adoption events and meet all sorts of different doggies. And I wouldn't mind adopting an adult dog, because I know that a lot of people typically want puppies. They're these super cute critters to adopt that you can, like, kind of raise as well. So adult dogs usually have a harder time getting adopted, and I wouldn't mind adopting an adult dog. But considering our lifestyle with stuff like the lake, it might potentially be better to get, like, a puppy that doesn't really have any potential ingrained trauma yet, and you can kind of get used to your specific lifestyle, what with stuff in the lake. Like with Jessie, for example, we got her pretty young at just over 4 months old. But even then, she did still have, like, some pretty ingrained trauma with her. Like, the farm that we got her from said that she was going to be a sheepdog, like she was a border collie after all. But they decided to put her up for adoption because she wouldn't work as a sheepdog because she was scared of the cows. And when we went and met her there, she didn't even want to come out of her kennel that she was in outside there. She was just incredibly shy, seemed really afraid of people, and just seemed like really, really scarred in a lot of ways. I was 10 years old, and I thought it seemed like she was really, really sad, and I just wanted to adopt her, and I'm really glad I did. But there were some things that she never really got over. She liked people, but she didn't like people in her face, like, ever. Like, that was a big no-no, is getting your face close to hers. If you were immediate family, like me or my parents, she would snarl at you, growl, be like, get out of my face right now, and if you keep doing it, she would bite you. She had bitten me before. And if you're not immediate family, there might not be as much warning. She might just bite. might be the case. She nipped my cousin's nose during one Christmas dinner when we told him don't get in her face, and he didn't listen to that and got a nose bite because of that. So, like, she never maliciously attacked. Like, it was always just little things like that. But she never got along with other doggies, and she hated cuddling. She liked petting if it was on her terms, but she never liked your face close to hers. And she never liked other doggies. There was only one other dog in her whole lifetime that, I don't know if I'd say liked, more like tolerated. And that was over a long, long time, a lot of work of getting the two to know one another. This golden retriever. And he is just like this big ball of love and like the most chill dude ever. He would never fight anyone. And they were able to get along because he was willing to concede that she was the boss. And he would always be wanting to play with her, and sometimes she'd do a little bit of running with him and then just be like, yeah, I'm done. I'm just kind of gonna ignore you now. And so she ignored him most of the time. She never really got along all that well with other doggies. So we would go down to the lakefront and stuff like that with her sometimes. But if there were other doggies about, she would have to be on leash immediately. We would have to separate her. And if there was like a big gathering going on down at the lakefront where there's going to be a lot of other people on doggies, she would have to wait like up at the lake cabin. She wouldn't be able to come down with us because we knew that that would not be a good environment for her. So it would be nice to have a doggy where you don't need to worry about that and you can just take along to gatherings and events and stuff like that without worrying about what could potentially happen. And I do worry about, with an adult dog, potentially having some of those ingrained traumas that they might not be able to get past, because that was something that Jessie was never able to get over. And she had like a patient family in us that was willing to love her regardless and take care of her in like the unique way that she needed. Have that kind of patience. But it would be nice if the next dog that we get is one that is like really well suited to that lifestyle and can really thrive in it, you know? So I have been leaning more lately towards potentially adopting a puppy instead, as one that you can kind of raise with that lifestyle. Abessaditha's journal. King Burgred stands his ground and stokes the fire that is the heathen army. I'm taking my sisters and we are fleeing the Shire. Their safety is my responsibility, as is the ability to continue our work. It is time to begin anew someplace new. God will guide us as he always has. I need to figure out how to get that other thing. I don't see any stairs on the map or anything, so I'm very quite confused here. Maybe there's a way above that I can get in. And when it comes to puppies and such, my personal preference would be, whoa, oh, that works perfectly. Would be Border Collie or something Border Collie related. Oh my god, please don't kill me, please don't, oh my god. I saw my stamina meter going down and I panicked thinking it was my health bar for a second. Still not 100% used to the UI of this game. Oh, I already read that one then, it's in multiple places in that case. Because my last doggy, Jesse, who we had for 15 years, was a Border Collie, so it's very much what I'm used to. I'm used to their intelligence and what an infinite energy machine Border Collies can be sometimes. And my dog before that, Oreo was her name, was also a Border Collie. So, the only dogs that I've had in my life before have been Border Collies, so that's very much what I'm used to, and I definitely wouldn't mind having a Border Collie or something that's like a Border Collie cross again. But, oh, they're gonna go around breaking a bunch of stuff. Fun. But now that I'm 25 and I will hopefully be like working full-time pretty consistently pretty soon here, I don't know if I would be able to have like the same time investment as I did when I was a 10-year-old kid adopting Jessie, where it's like get home from school, do walks every day, stuff like that. I would have to do homework from time to time, but I'll just run it so I can keep on rambling. I have to do homework from time to time, but I definitely had a lot more time as a kid than I do as an adult. Like, both with, like, my university years, and once I start working full-time, I know full well how busy that'll make me. I spent most of my summers working full-time between semesters to be able to afford getting through university without taking out student loans. So I know full well how busy I'll be and how limited my hours will be, especially if I keep up other passions of mine like Taekwondo or my Fargo restoration, stuff like that. And some of that is actually, like, wrapping up here pretty soon. In terms of the mechanical stuff, that might actually be wrapped up pretty soon, which would be really, really good. So, oh, there's another guy here. Stall. Watch him kill me now, and then I have to redo everything. I'd be so mad. In fact, the play is probably just to ignore him because of that. And Border Collies are, like, some of the highest energy dogs you can have, because they were bred to be sheep dogs. They're bred to be work dogs, and Border Collies like to work and think and do complicated tasks like that. Like, that's very much a Border Collie thing. So Border Collies, you need to give regular physical exercise and regular mental exercise as well. They need that stimulation. It's what they were bred to have and bred to do. So you need to be constantly engaging them physically and mentally. And I don't know if I have as much time investment for that anymore. So I would very much like the smarts that a Border Collie has, and still the excuse to, like, get out and run and stuff like that sometimes, but maybe not as often as a Border Collie needs. Which is why I've thought about being on the lookout for, like, oh, maybe there's some dog that has, like, Border Collie in it, or, like, even just other breeds that I am a fan of, like Australian Shepherd or German Shepherd or stuff like that. Like, some sort of mix, something in that range. There's another raid thing around here. Oh, way far up there. And, I've gone to a lot of adoption events, and there's been, like, a lot of doggies that have been, like, really cute, and ones that would meet that kind of criteria, or even just general ones online on, like, sites like Kijiji and stuff like that. I guess I can grab this book while I'm continuing to ramble and then go do the thing over there. And recently, on January 1st, before that point, I had heard that my local Humane Society had some crosses of Border Collie and Black Labrador. Or maybe they're just called Labradors, I don't know, I'm not as familiar with the breed. But that's a really, really nice combination there. Then you have, like, the smarts of Border Collie without maybe as much energy. And maybe some people-loving side with the Labrador. I've heard that there's been, like, Golden Retriever Border Collie crosses, which that is, like, how you get a smart, super people-loving dog as well. But Border Collie Labrador is also, like, a really, really nice combination. So, while we were out of town, that is a doggy that I very much wanted to, like, go and meet. A whole litter. They had a whole litter at the Humane Society, and when I asked them about it, they said that, yeah, they were rescues that needed to be taken in and, like, find a home. Oh, that, and select that to start a raid with your crew? Oh. What? Not while I'm climbing, maybe? Oh, so I can get my whole crew to this fort? Oh, that's kind of cool. Are they gonna run from the ship?
We fight.
What? Where did that come from? Maybe Eivor? I don't know. So, maybe I should save out here really quickly. Get out of the restricted area. So, I went to the Humane Society and met this... Oh, well, whatever. I met this litter of 4 Border Collie Labrador cross puppies. And they were really, really cute and really, really sweet. Hand them treats and they would take it, like, super nicely. They were just completely lovely doggies. And seemed like a cross that I would probably really, really like. But when it came to the actual step of saying, yes, I want to go through with this adoption, let's take a puppy home today, I couldn't. Like, I couldn't get past that mental barrier. And I know that this would probably be, like, the best time to adopt, like, before I get into, like, a full-time work schedule. And I have the time to be getting a new doggy kind of used to lifestyle here, or if it's puppy, do, like, some puppy training and stuff like that. This is the time that I would have the most possible time to commit to something like that. Whoa. That is going to be a lot harder to do once I start doing full-time work. So this is the time that makes the most sense. But it's just a lot harder for me to kind of picture stepping over that barrier they're actually going through with an adoption. And I'm sure if I adopted any one of those puppies, like, I would not regret it. I have a hard time seeing myself regretting it. Like, I could absolutely see any of them becoming, like, a lifelong companion there. But it's just kind of hard for me to get past the mental barrier of this decision that I make, like, right now in this moment is now a new family member that I'm going to be looking after here for the next 15 years of life. And I want to make sure that it feels right. And, like, it has never quite felt right. I thought after, like, my past year of searching, like, if I keep on searching, I'll eventually find the one that speaks to me as, like, the one. But I've never really felt that. And at this point, I'm starting to think, like, maybe there is no real such thing as the one. And I just, like, keep on looking until I eventually find, like, whoa, gosh dang it, man. Until I find a pupper to adopt that's just, like, a cross of some breeds that I really like and I'm willing to look after here. And I probably would have really, really loved a Border Collie Labrador, but just sitting there on, like, the bench in the side of the Humane Society there contemplating it, it was just really hard for me to get past that step of going up to the counter and being like, yes, I'd like to adopt. They'll fill out an application here and take one home. And now that puppy is going to be home for, like, the next 15 years here. Because I know that it's, like, such a long-term decision where the moment I make that decision is going to have, like, a drastic impact on both my life and the life of the doggy in question. And, like, that much of a life-impactful decision being, like, a in-the-moment kind of thing like that, it's kind of hard for me to get past that mental barrier. Like, the last time that I was adopting a dog when I was 10 years old, it was a lot easier for me to be able to just see, like, the first one, like Jesse was the first one that we saw, and be like, this is the one. Like, because I was a 10-year-old kid and anyone might well have been the one. But I am really, really glad that we ended up getting Jessie because of her unique quirks that maybe another potential adopter might not have been as patient with. Like, we ended up being, like, a family that was very patient with her quirks, we'll say here, and accepting of her despite that. And again, still very much missing her every day here. I'm gonna need an extra helping hand for opening that, so I can't exactly do that right now. And I mean, with Jessie as a kid, I feel like I was also, like, extra inclined to adopt her because I saw that she seemed really, really shy and, like, really sad there. Like, the whole, oh yeah, we want to put her up for adoption because she's afraid of the cows, I really feel like was not the whole truth. There was clearly some trauma that she was carrying. So, I mean, if I keep on looking around for the one, would I be looking for a doggy that has that same sadness that I feel compassion for? Like, what is it that I'm looking for? So, like, I was asking myself that as I was just sitting contemplating on this bench in the Humane Society there. Like, what is it that I'm looking for here if I'm not going to adopt, say, one of these puppers here? Like, am I looking for something better? If so, what does better look like? Like, I don't think you can realistically say that an option is better or worse unless it's like an adult doggy that you know for sure with this established personality doesn't match your lifestyle. But with a puppy where you can't really know and is already like a mix of breeds I would really like, how would I know that an option is better per se? And so I was just sitting there contemplating, like, if I keep on looking for the one, I'm just gonna be like stuck on this endless cycle where maybe I never adopt, and then I'm just gonna be like stuck for year after year saying I want to adopt a doggy really soon, I want to adopt a doggy really soon, and then just like not ever actually doing it because it never feels right in the time, because I keep on thinking this is gonna be a decision that's gonna affect the next 15 years. Is this the one that feels like for sure right, and it doesn't feel that way? And again, I'm sure any decision that I would have made there, I wouldn't have regretted it. Like, I'm sure if I had like one of those puppies in the house right now, I would not regret it, and they would absolutely grow to be like a new best friend kind of thing. Like, I have no doubt of that. There wouldn't be any regrets with that. But I still just have a really, really hard time getting over that mental barrier, and I can't take that step, I guess. And they still know that I'm here somehow. Geez. Well, now I'm one-shottable, so I don't really want to stick around there. So it's hard for me, and part of me is debating about like, should I really keep waiting until it feels like completely right, like this is the one that I have to adopt, or do I concede that if I keep on looking for that, it's never going to happen and I'm never going to adopt? So I say screw it, just go through with an adoption even if it doesn't feel right, and then it becomes right as time goes on. Like, what is the right play? And that's been something that I've been contemplating a lot recently, and has been really, really hard for me. And while I was at the Humane Society a few days ago, like, that question was racking my brain. Like, am I looking for something better? Like, what's going to happen here? Like, do I really go through with this? I do realize that if I do go through with it, it'll feel like a snap decision, because I admit that while I probably wouldn't regret it, it still didn't feel exactly right, like the right moment. But if that's not the right moment, then what is? And what am I waiting for? And like, I'm in a little bit of a mental struggle right now in that sense. So that has been the thing that has been getting to me the most mentally lately. And I've been struggling with a decent bit, so it's fine. I don't need a heal. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Go this way. So I just sat on that bench for a while, and after the visit where you were able to go into the enclosure with a puppy, you can, in the Humane Society, they have their doggies like in these little, not quite kennel areas, they're rooms that have like a side of glass that you can look into, and you have to request to like do a meet to meet them. And I did a meet with them, and you know, I didn't really have a decision right then and there, so we exited, and I just sat thinking about it for a while, and I went up to the glass and, you know, would just kind of stare in for a little while, contemplating. And the one puppy there that I was thinking about adopting, you know, did have a kind of longing stare that, you know, of course would melt my heart a little bit. But I also knew as being like a super cute puppy of the Humane Society would also be adopted to a loving family in no time, and, you know, wasn't probably as in need of adoption as like some of these other rescue societies. I don't know. I also don't know if that's the right mentality, because anyone that's looking for a puppy would also find a puppy one way or another. Either way. And I don't know. I mean, even if I didn't adopt one of them there, I knew that, like, there'll keep on being more that end up coming in and needing homes anyway. So it's not like I necessarily needed to do that there. Like, I wouldn't be getting a home otherwise. And that I was robbing them of the potential to have that or anything. But still, I just kind of stood there thinking, like, you know, I see that look long enough and then it's gonna feel right. And I thought maybe it did for a little while, seeing that kind of look, but I still wasn't 100% sure as I'm thinking about, like, I make this snap decision and now this is gonna be the thing that I'm locked into, you could say, for the next 15 years. I mean, technically not, but I'm not gonna be that kind of person that's just like, you know, I changed my mind about this, I'm bringing them back, because I think that that's a really, really cruel thing to do to a dog. Like, again, like, if it turns out that it's really not the right fit and it is the better thing for both parties involved, then of course that's what you want to do. But just the, you know, I changed my mind, I don't actually want to look after a dog, that kind of excuse, like, that doesn't fly with me, and that just feels like a really shitty, inconsiderate thing to do. That's what I feel like. Hey, look, people finally got up here. I can help out here. Maybe I can sneak in and go help this guy. Probably not. Well, I'm one-shotable. Time to dip out until I heal again now. That's what it's time for. So yeah, I've been having a little bit of a mental battle recently. And yeah, maybe there's some alternate universe out there where the January 1st stream, the beginning of this playthrough, I would have been introducing a new puppy, a new member of the household here. And it almost happened, like, I was just sitting there, like, just weighing it and being like, am I gonna keep on putting it off and then it's never gonna happen, so I should just say screw it and just go through with it? Because again, there's no way that I would realistically regret this decision. But that mental barrier of actually doing it and making the 15-year decision, it weighs heavy on me, and it's hard to actually do it. And I keep on thinking that I'm gonna find the one when I don't really know what that looks like. But I do also know with something like that, like, it is good to make sure that it feels right and isn't really a snap decision. But, I mean, I've been trying for like a year now, and I haven't had a situation yet that has felt right. Like, this is for sure the one. But again, would you ever have that feeling without them actually being a part of your family yet? Where it's like they become the one over time rather than it being a thing that you feel beforehand? And when I first adopted Jessie, was it because, like, I was just a kid that was gonna adopt, like, any dog that was the first one that I saw? Or was it really because, like, there was the sadness that I saw in her eyes and, like, the true timidness and fear that she had? Or maybe it was a mix of both. And am I looking for that? And if so, should I realistically be looking for that? Because I don't want the next dog to just be, like, a replacement for Jessie. You would never replace a member of your family. Just give a home to a new member of the family that needs it, because there are so many dogs that need a home right now. So it really should be about, like, giving a home to someone that really needs it, because there is so much need right now when it comes to the adoption space. I really would love to give an opportunity to one that needs it, but again, should I wait until it feels right? I know that, like, a really big decision like that, you should only be making when it feels right. But what is going to feel right for me is the question. And is there going to be anything that truly feels right? So do I keep on putting it off until something feels right? Or do I just do it and then it'll start to feel right over time? Because again, I don't think that I would regret any adoption like that. Like, I'm sure I would absolutely end up truly loving them. Wow, the extra assassination is really good in this game then, huh? So, yeah, I'm very conflicted. I've been having a little bit of a mental battle here. So, got my first non-DLC rune there, which is kind of cool. So, like, I don't even know what it is that I'm looking for here. Like, I've been asking myself that a lot, is like, what is it exactly that I'm looking for anyway? Like, while I still am missing Jessie every day, I know that there wouldn't ever be anything quite like that, and that I shouldn't expect anything quite like that. And I have convinced myself that I'm going into this adoption plan with that in mind, but I wonder if there's still, like, a hidden deep down part of me mentally that is still looking for that, and why that could be the reason why it's not feeling right. Maybe. I don't know. I really don't know exactly what the mental struggle is, but is there a part of me that's still secretly looking for that same kind of look in the eye, that same shyness and fear that just brings out the side of me that wants to foster and care for one that has been in, like, not so great conditions there, you know? I mean, a lot of these puppies that are rescues come from not so great backgrounds, being like just completely abandoned or like running wild in reserves where dogs are just left to breed and have puppies, and whatever happens to the puppies happens, and just have this cruel existence there. So a lot of them do come from troubled past, but are going to be young enough that like that isn't really going to affect them long term. So if I do end up getting a puppy rather than an adult dog, so that they can be shaped into like getting used to the lifestyle that we have here, then they might not ever have that same kind of look anyway. I mean, Jessie was still very much a puppy when we got her at 4 months. I don't know what it is that I'm looking for. I don't know in what situation it's going to feel right, if I should even be waiting for it to feel right anymore at this point. Because again, while life is definitely a lot more easy without having a dog around, and that I have a lot more time for things and don't have all these other obligations, it's definitely not better. And the house here has definitely felt a lot emptier without having a dog around. I still have my leopard gecko, who is now over 16 years old. Like, holy crap. He was born same year, same month as Jessie, so yeah, he's over 16 now, which is insane. But that's not quite exactly the same. I love him. I'm pretty sure he likes me. I don't think he would love me per se. I don't know if that's something that a leopard gecko would feel. He definitely likes me though. But, you know, not quite the exact same thing as having a doggy around who's gonna be super excited to see you. I mean, he's pretty excited to see me if I'm bringing him some food like crickets or a hornworm or something like that. He loses his mind at that. Like, he'll be hiding out in his cave or relaxing on the sand, and he'll get up immediately and come right up to the glass like, food, please put it in right now, I can't wait. He gets so excited. But yeah, not quite the, I love him, but, you know, happy is not quite the same as having a doggy around here. So I do very much miss that. Oh, fall damage time, nice. So I do very much miss that. But yeah, I really don't know what it is that I'm doing when it comes to that front, and what it is I should do. Like, what is the right option? Is there a right option? Like, at what moment does it feel right? Like, I'm at a loss. I mean, for a little while, I mean, very shortly after losing Jessie, I couldn't really think about adopting a doggy at all for a little while, because I still wasn't over that. I mean, I'm still not over that, I'm gonna be honest with you. But, like, I wasn't really ready to accept someone new into the family at that point, you could say. And, you know, it was definitely a little bit hard for me for a while. It also didn't make matters easier by the fact that immediately the day after losing her is when Extra Life 2023 went on, and I had to kind of ignore all that for a little bit and just kind of go into happy cheery mode of 24-hour charity stream for the Australia Children's Hospital and all that. And, you know, I don't know how much it reflected in the 24-hour charity stream 9 there, but I was dealing with having just gone through that the earlier day, so that wasn't really great there. And it took me a while before I was ready to, like, accept another member into the household. And, like, the amount of time it takes for that kind of thing is going to be different for everyone. Some people will take, like, years before that. Some people are ready to do that kind of thing, like, right away. For me, I'd say it took a couple months before I was willing to accept a new member into the family here. Is someone still trying to shoot me? Is it that guy there? Boy. There. Then an arrow to the knee. And then sometime early on into the new year, like, I was at the point where I was willing to adopt a doggy. And my mentality at that point is, like, it's been quiet in the household too long here. I really want to have a doggy in the household, like, immediately now. And one close family friend is someone that actually fosters rescues through this organization that looks after rescue doggies. We'll foster them, look after them until they eventually get adopted by the adopting family, I guess is just the right term there. Wow, I was able to get the assassination off of that. Amazing. So sometimes she would bring by some of the puppies that she's fostering And some of them would be really, really nice. And there was one of hers that I actually did really quite like and that I did genuinely want to adopt. And I was ready to adopt. My mom was ready to adopt. My dad wasn't ready yet, though. So, because of that, we didn't end up adopting him because, like... And I was honestly surprised that he was, like, the last one ready to get another Doggy. I'm gonna go around this way because maybe I can get an air assassination that way. And it took him a little while before he was ready, but because of that, the one pupper there that I did want to adopt quite a while back, I didn't end up adopting. Oh, well, guess I'm not doing an air assassination there then. I don't know if my friendos are going to come and help out with this. And it was only as of me going and visiting Guzma in Louisiana and going on that little road trip around Louisiana and Texas along with my dad that, like, in the middle of driving around, what are they shooting up at something? That my dad and I just talking, well, as we're driving from point A to point B, maybe get out of here before some lucky hit gets me, or I just do that. Maybe this time. As we're driving around, he said that, like, he was okay with adopting another dog from there. He said, like, if I want to adopt another dog, I get the go-ahead. So, it was only after our little road trip around together that he told me that he was willing to do that. And so, after getting back from my trip there, is when I started to go to a lot of these adoption events and looking around. But then things weren't really feeling right for me anymore. And now I'm at the point where it's been over a year, and, you know, even though it was early last year that I was, like, ready and willing to adopt right now, I'm ready to adopt right now, that now, it's like I've gotten used to not having a Doggy around here, which is really quite sad that I've kind of gotten used to that as my normal now. And again, like, life definitely isn't better, but now it's also harder to picture, like, the other lifestyle again when now I'm used to just the way life is without. Even though I'm fairly certain life is just gonna be getting better the moment that I adopt. It's kind of hard to make the sudden lifestyle switch when I've sadly kind of gotten used to this now. And I'm sure, like, if I adopted, I'd break out of it fast, but now I'm the one that, even though I feel like and say that I'm ready to adopt right now, I'm starting to think that, like, maybe I'm not, because I keep on going and meeting, like, all sorts of puppies like these ones on January 1st that, again, I'm sure if I adopted, I definitely wouldn't regret. But I just keep on feeling like it's not right, and like I'm not as ready to make this snap decision of here's another member in the family immediately. Like, yeah, you already told me this. Piercing shot. Pierce through nearly any obstacle. It's kind of cool. Let's assign it to Y, because that kind of corresponds to where I had, like, the Ghost of Artemis thingamabob or whatever it was called, signed in Odyssey, even though I didn't use it all that much. So, yeah, finally that wheel's gonna appear there. And I can do that. So, yeah, I was very, very ready to adopt for a while, but now I'm wondering if, even though I say I'm ready to adopt, if there's a part of me deep down that just isn't, and that's why things aren't feeling right. I don't know. Oh, just a little bit of food. Not a massive ton, though. Okay, well, what else am I missing here? So, I'm gonna have to get it from the other side. Can I see a way in? Not that I can see here. Oh, maybe underneath this way? They start wandering back in thinking I was gone. Yeah, here, right? What? Is there, like, one of those explodey pots? Because I think I destroyed something that looks similar to that at one point using an explodey pot. Boink. Maybe I just need the key from someone here? More guys fighting. I don't know. I don't know. I would think that would be the way in, but maybe I can't quite do it. Like, this looks like a thing I'd be able to slide under. But unless I can blow it up, I'm not entirely sure how I would here. So, yeah, that's been my biggest mental struggle lately. And I really don't know what the right option is, if there is a right option. Like, I guess the right option is just doing what feels right. And I did almost, like, force myself to adopt one of those doggies when I was at the Humane Society on January 1st a few days ago. I almost did. Like, honestly, with me debating there, it was probably pretty close to a 50-50 whether I did or not. But, what the heck? Invisible wall? Next game. But because I knew I wouldn't regret it, I feel like even though it didn't quite feel right, I feel like I was kind of trying to force myself to make it feel right as I was, like, just standing, staring in through the glass and stuff like that extensively and contemplating there. Like, if I did it long enough, it would start to feel right, and I... What, even though you saw me, I can still assassinate here? So, yeah, I don't know. We... thought I would have taken a tiny smidge of fall damage from that, I'm gonna be honest. So, yeah. That's the really big, serious topic kind of thing here to discuss that I didn't get the chance to last stream. Too much introductory stuff going on and not generic gameplay stuff that could be going on while I chatted about it. So, yeah. Yeah, there's that. But when it was close to a 50-50 that day, I figured... Did I already complete the thing here? Is it considered completed? Or will it not be considered complete until I grab these thingamabobs? Which I'm not entirely sure how to grab. I figured, like, it doesn't have to happen, like, immediately, and if it doesn't feel right, then may as well not, and then, you know, there'll always be plenty more puppies. Like, I don't necessarily need to do this right now. Do it another time when it feels right. But again, that same worry about, like, will it ever feel right? And now is literally the best time for me to be doing it in terms of, like, time-wise commitment of getting a new doggy used to the household. So now would be the best kind of time before I get into full-time work. But, like... So, I almost forced myself to go through with it. Adrenaline is full. Oh, so that's what I would do. So, yeah, I'm just in a state of... What the hell is the right option? What the hell do I do? Should I have just adopted that day? Like, I don't know. But, you know, I sat there on that bench for a long time. I stood and stared through the glass for a long time. Part of me, like, nearly broke down at at this whole situation. And eventually my mom just asked me, would you like to go home? And I said, yeah, we can go home. And, so we went up to the reception and said, like, you know, thanks for letting us meet with the puppies. That was nice of you, but I think we're gonna go. And, like, it was kind of hard for me to even go through with saying that, even. So. Like, if I was there on my own, I probably would have been, like, sitting there contemplating on that bench for hours. If I was there alone, I didn't have someone else there with me that also wanted to go home. So, yeah. I don't know what more I can really say. Jeez. And my throat's getting all messed up. Here's one of these pots, if that really is the solution to that one bit. If I even remember how to get there anymore. Which I might not. I thought maybe I'd be able to open that one gate from the other side, but it sure didn't seem like I could. And I don't think I can take this while climbing up, so I really don't know what I do. And this is just completely stumping me right now, I'm gonna be honest with you. Heck. Wanna chill? Another guy here? Can I place this? Dang it! Well, there goes that. I don't know if there was any more. But I think I might need something like that. Raspberry. Is there any more there? I don't know what raspberry bushes look like, but, alright, I don't even know then. I really do not know. It was around the mid-ish point here to get into that one bit. And then down. Around. There's one of these entrances where I first got into it. So, yeah. And I wanted to save that for a, that topic for a little bit of a late night stuff like this when there's probably not anybody really tuning in live anymore. because this is more one of those topics I just kind of want to talk about and have on the record, but not really have a discussion about, you know? Feel more so like I'm talking to myself than anyone else. That's what I need it to feel like. You guys go kind of crazy. Oh, can I just shoot that? Oh, it was red for a second there. Yeah, that is the solution. I've been running around for nothing. I should have figured after all the time something like that was the solution in Odyssey. At this point. This is what I should have figured. There. Bunch of iron ore and stuff. I think that was the only thing in here. Yeah. That might be a good thing to upgrade. Sure, I think I will, actually. There we go. There. So now I can hold 3. I thought I could only hold 1 before. So now it's up to 2, and it's showing that it'll go up by 1 and get up to 3 with the next upgrade. Or something like that. I don't know. I feel like the number should show, like, what I'm currently at. Cool if I could open that. I don't know where the heck those ladies run off to. Whenever they run off here. Not entirely sure. Well, I got that. They ran that way that time. There's a thing here, I guess. I probably shouldn't be so hung up on trying to 100% things. Like I did on the way in Odyssey. Like I said that I was going to commit more to story objectives this time, but here I am doing this now. But yeah, so just something that I wanted to say, but I didn't really want to actually talk to people about, you could say, in that sense. Just be during some late night stream that nobody's tuning into, and going into some VOD that nobody's watching after the fact. So I can just be truly rambling to myself, but it's on a record that I can refer to later. Stuff like that. Man, this music totally hasn't gotten repetitive yet, has it? Big one here. Because may as well at this point. So yeah, I don't really think that there's anything more that I can say on that. So I think all I can really say is that I will keep looking around for now, but I don't know if things are ever going to feel right or if I should keep on waiting for it to feel right. I'm really not entirely sure, but I'll keep on looking and see what happens. But forcing myself into it might not be the right choice. Again, I probably wouldn't regret it if I did, but I mean, with the Doggy that we were kind of trying out here before, around halfway through last year, I had my cousin's kids with me, and they, by having them with me, things can feel a lot more right when they end up really liking the Doggy. And by having them around, maybe it would be a whole lot more convincing, you could say. So if I went to more events with them, maybe that would be the thing that ends up convincing me. But again, don't want to do like an impulse kind of decision. Hi, man. And the reason we brought that Doggy home was also because we really didn't know what she was like. The shelter said we don't really know much about her, which turned out to be a lie after we found out after bringing her back that apparently she had been returned several times by people that had brought her home to see how things would turn out. And it's like, huh, you could have told us that rather than pretending that you knew nothing. Like, if you had said she had been returned multiple times and told us the reason why, there was a chance we could have been like, hey, those things that are going on, like, maybe that's something that one family can sort out, but that doesn't really match with our lifestyle, so we know ahead of time that this isn't going to work out, so it's not right to bring her home, rather than letting both the family and the dog get attached, only to lead to heartbreak there. Like, really, really unprofessional by that shelter kennel there. Boarding kennel, whatever. So I was really not impressed with that situation. So, I mean, that wasn't a bringing home because it feels right, but rather a bringing home because we don't really know whether it's right until we try, because they claimed that they knew nothing, which, again, turned out to be a lie and super unprofessional. But I think if I was in another situation where I was told, we don't really know anything about this Doggy, but, like, you can take them home and see if it's a right fit. I think if I run into a situation like that again, I'm not taking the Doggy home to see if it's a right fit. Because, yeah, that was definitely hard on the family here to be bringing her back and make the difficult decision there that, yeah, this is not the right fit there. Like, doesn't really match with our lifestyle and should go to a family that's better suited for. So, yeah, I don't think I can do something like that again. I think whatever the next time is going to be has to be like the final time in that sense. So it has to either feel right, feel like it's a right personality with our lifestyle, someone that would like really thrive with the kind of life that we lead here, or be a puppy that you can just like raise into being used to that kind of lifestyle, is what it would have to be. So yeah. Oh, here. I was missing it. There we go. Huntsman cloak, wealth collected. Alright. Here, I can fast travel to this now. I'll go do this one story quest, and then I might wrap up the night sometime shortly after. Dodge, tap X to dodge. What's with the lines between there?